All the disrespect before you play back, button check. Button check.
What is up, Budget family? Welcome back to yet again a beautiful day, a new week of buttons that need to be checked. It's getting hotter and hotter in these damn FGC streets. We got a lot, man. I think I posted 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday, so I appreciate the mad love, man. Links down below, chapters down below, all that good stuff, because we got one big topic. It's 2, but technically it's so damn big, it comes into one big story. So without further ado, let's get some buttons, start the week off right. Let's go. All right, first up for Street Fighter 6, new outfits for free. But somehow the community is still pissed off, buttons that need to be checked. Now I know what you're probably thinking, like, oh man, here we go. They're never satisfied on Twitter or X. Honestly, I could come to the same conclusion, but it gets deeper than that because like I said, somehow, some way, this story also leads to the second story. So starting right here, Capcom Fighters posted this, man, when did they post this? Just yesterday, saying Drive Tech Wear is coming. We're creating a new outfit for every Street Fighter 6 character built to celebrate the global competitive scene in communities around the world. Drive Tech Wear will be here for all players. And for those not familiar with Drive Tech, no, it's not a sponsor. It's like an in-game Street Fighter 6-ish universe merch that you could wear. So from there, this has about 2.2 thousand likes. Now, if we go down that, FGC is reacting, starting with King J, simply saying, woo, giving him that Ric Flair. And then what else we got? I fucking called it. I knew this was gonna happen because of the Saudis, literally called it. This one right here, I guess he was talking to LeBrutus and he was like, Capcom or Saudi is gonna force Capcom to make all these female characters have full body costumes or mandatory use of every EVO tournament and ban the LGBTQ players from attending, limit. So he goes in depth right there. Here's the crazy thing is there's other people that are saying the same thing. They're like, we think this is in response to Saudi kind of like taking over all the EVOs and doing some more investments with Capcom, which we'll talk about that in a second. So they're creating new outfits to cover up the females, kind of like they would do over there. Some people are like, y'all are reaching. That is a reach because Street Fighter V had tracksuits, so what's the difference? And this is where it continues. Others like, just like the tracksuit outfits from Street Fighter V, nice. This is a joke, right? What happened to the outfit for all the characters? Some respond to that saying like, dude, it's still gonna happen. This is not gonna replace that, which remains to be seen, I guess. Others are like, let me guess, this is for censorship of the female characters that Saudi Arabia deems too risky, and so you guys can make something for free? Who would have thought? Continuing on, so there is hope someday. See the tracksuits once again. And why not make Street Fighter V style tracksuits? This looks horrid. And what does this even mean? Then you got, this is nice. For next year, you can release new paid outfits and get the money that is from that instead of the PPV. You see a lot of that. A lot of people in the other responses, well, I'm sorry, same responses to this are like, okay, we would have paid for this. If you just would have did this in advance, you don't have to do the pay-per-view, but that's been a song that we've been singing for a long time. Continuing on, around the world. Oh, so now you remember that people outside of Japan play your game, and you really mean we get some costumes in 2026 and not 2036. Now, from there, when we go to the quote retweets, right here saying, Capcom, we would have literally paid for this to support the tournament scene instead of the pay-per-view event. This is a really cool, or this is really cool. How did I say like, this is a really cool. I feel like I should be eating a plate of spaghetti when I said that shit. Anyway, listen, this is really cool. Just please look into doing crowdfunding products like this, stages, etc. and trust that the community will pull up to support 100. Beneath that, what else we got? MEZ saying they're back, showing the tracksuits. Continuing, Roofamonger says, if it's anything like Street Fighter V tracksuits and come with a bunch of cool colors, then hell yeah, let's go. And then wrapping it up right here, they say hashtag EWC. And then what else we got? Good thing Capcom has the sense to make these free, because if they made these paid on top of making Capcom Cup pay-per-view, then I swear to God. So if you go on over to Reddit, right here, Drive Tech Wear costumes announced for all characters. A lot of these comments are going back and forth where people are like, this is in response or for the people in Saudi, for the new Evo movement to appease them. It's literally going back and forth. There's some people calling them stupid, like, look, the costumes are clearly showing, or I mean, they did the same thing in Street Fighter V. Matter of fact, we prefer the tracksuits in Street Fighter V. So how are you getting this argument? But others are like, no, they're going to use it because apparently they're saying that if you do a tournament in certain parts of the world, certain outfits are already banned. I don't know that. I don't think I've heard that. Let me know in the comments if you guys heard that. Have you ever heard of a tournament played like, let's say, China or Saudi or something like that, where they were saying, you can't use this outfit because it's too revealing? That's what these comments are basically saying. They're going back and forth saying, oh, I could just see it. In the future, when we go play in Saudi or something, they're gonna say, you're only allowed to use such and such outfit for your character. Do you think that argument holds any weight? Like I said, as of now, I can't remember a time where I actually heard a tournament made that rule. I've heard tournaments making a rule that certain characters were banned, especially I think like in Smash, and maybe back in the day, Seth and Street Fighter 4. But overall, I don't think I've ever heard of like particular outfits banned. See right here, this is what I was talking about. They keep going in saying, so this is so you don't have to see any women's skin during EWC. Below that, they say, I think this was, or I think there was a tournament or two in Japan that banned certain costumes. So perhaps this is for that. EWC didn't look to have any qualms with the existing set of costumes, if I'm not mistaken. So this, oddly enough, brings us to the next set of buttons, because Saudi Arabia Investment Fund, which was just, I guess, reported today, right here saying Saudi Arabian investment firm that owns SNK has acquired a significant stake in Capcom. This has about 2.5 thousand likes. When you scroll down below, FGC talking about, I can't wait for the same people who said, I won't play City of the Wolves because Saudi owns SNK to keep playing Street Fighter. That has 220 likes. You get this GIF right here. And then censorship incoming, see, kind of connecting the dots from the community. And then they're gonna force Capcom to add a techno DJ from Bulgaria as a guest character in Street Fighter 6. And then what does Saudi Arabia want with fighting games? We already know that answer. And time to roll back the body type A, B, male and female, and scrub out all the gay shit from those games. And not like this, Capcom. Capcom should not have gone public. And this is the article that I was talking about, which we'll briefly skim. I think this is my first time learning of them. Author is named Amber V. Right here saying, Saudi Arabian investment firm that owns SNK has acquired a significant stake in Capcom. Now, when you scroll below, she kind of breaks it down, saying electronic gaming development company, EGDC, a Saudi-based investment firm, has acquired a large number of Capcom shares, according to GameBiz. In a report submitted March 13th, which was about 2 days ago, was disclosed that the EGDC now owns a 5.03% stake in Capcom after acquiring, check this out, 26,788,500 shares. The EGDC stated that the purpose of the acquisition of shares is pure investment and earning profits from stock price increases or dividends. Founded in 2020, the EGDC is owned by the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed. And then if you continue on right here, the company is known for becoming a parent company in Fatal Fury and King of Fighters developer SNK Corporation back in 2022. After acquiring 96%, now 100% of the studio shares. So that's interesting. On one hand, you're saying, I mean, that's a lot of damn shares if we break it down. If you just look at 5%, you're like, okay, that's not that much. But then when you look at 26,788,500 shares, they had to buy that many just to get 5%. Now, I was curious. I wanted to look up to see how much would it cost them to get to be the primary stakeholder, right? Because didn't they kind of do the same thing with Evo? They first kind of put their foot in the door and there was an uproar. Immediately, I remember me and Dirty Low did a video about it. People were like, a boycott, we're not going, this is some bullshit, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. I mean, there was a lot of people to this day that were saying they weren't gonna mess with Evo anymore. Then shortly after that, like several months later, guess what? They fully own Evo and now there's like 10 Evos or 9 or something like that so far. So it was a really quick transition. Now with this, with Capcom, technically it's 5%. I looked up how much would it cost them to get like 50 to 51%. It's anywhere from 4.6 to $9 billion. That's a lot of cheddar. But considering the fact that these guys, or the Prince alone, has assets in the trillions of dollars, like literally over 1 point some trillion dollars, something like that. And I think he himself is like anywhere from 20 to 30 billion dollars. That's like how much he's worth. I'm probably getting these numbers off and they probably have more. All I'm saying is it's a lot of crazy money, but not to them. So if they did, let's say, want to go the same route they did with Evo, what's to say they couldn't? And then several months from now become the primary stockholder of Capcom and start to call some real shots. But here's the other thing, is apparently a few years ago, they already did this and purchased 5% of Capcom stock through the PIF, which is the Public Investment Fund, but I believe that is also a subsidiary, if I can talk, owned by the Crown Prince. He runs it as well. I don't know how these dots connect, but if they're all coming from Saudi, if the PIF has 5%, and then these new guys, or department I should say, the Electronic Gaming Development Company, which is also based in Saudi, if they both have 5% now, does that mean that the Crown Prince has 10% of Capcom? And that it wouldn't cost him billions? Well, it's probably still gonna cost him billions, but if they have 10%, they just need like, what, 41 more percent? I don't know how this works. Don't quote me on this shit. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, if technically they have done this already, that's what the report is saying through the PIF, and now they're doing it through the EGDC, where's it gonna go from here? So far, I mean, the reports, what we're getting is they're doing this strictly for investment purposes, which would make sense, right? But these guys don't seem to be the type where they're satisfied. We're just like, we're chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll just get a little piece here. They like the whole pie. They like to eat, you know what I'm saying? That's the way that it comes off. They come in, they get a little piece, they look around and say, you know what? Buy the whole thing, round for everybody. That's the way it seems. Now, I'm not throwing shade or anything like that. I'm just saying this is the way it seems like it's going. I made a video like 2 weeks ago where I was saying, I wonder if Saudi Arabia and Crown Prince, you know, they bought basically SNK, they bought Fatal Fury. I was like, technically in terms of sales and popularity, it was a flop. Oh, they got more money than ever. Shit, they even outdo us, right? In terms of player participation and numbers, a lot of people, especially after all the marketing they did, would consider that game a flop. They keep adding millions and millions of dollars to that prize pool and the circuit, and the numbers so far don't seem to really go up like a lot of people thought they would. So I posed the question, I wonder how he feels about that. Like, probably doesn't care because they got money to burn and they're just looking to purchase up everything. Maybe that's one point of view, but I thought maybe at the end of the day, they want games that are banger. Hell, they're building an FGC city. They want to be the headquarters of the world, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, maybe ultimately, no, we want games too that bang. We want games that everybody plays and like, yo, this is the game. So I thought, I posed the question, what if they went after Capcom and looked like, hey, maybe we could partner with y'all or buy the majority of stocks here since they went public? Maybe they do that. I thought it was a little far-fetched, but after reading this, I'm like, how far-fetched is that? I'm just asking the question. So check this out. Like it or not, the FGC is split. I don't know the percentage. I can only tell you what I see off of social media. There is a large amount of people on social media that are not down with the Saudi movement, and they're talking about boycotting, right? Some big names, but it does seem like the majority of the FGC, if I had to guess about the whole pie 100%, I would say about 70% is down for it, including the pros and commentators, and 30% of the casual viewers and maybe some of the commentators and pros are not for it. But maybe even higher than that, I would say, actually. Maybe 90-10. You know what I'm saying? 90 for it, 10 against. Maybe even higher than that. That's just the way it feels, right? Because you read these comments and it does seem like a lot of blowback. But at the end of the day, it seems like it's full steam ahead. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's full steam ahead. And remember when I took a poll on here? Y'all said the majority was like 36%, 40% or something like that. And it said, we should just wait to see what happens and not jump the gun. It wasn't, this is bullshit, let's boycott, although some people did vote that way. The majority was, maybe we should just pump the brakes and see what this leads to. Because a lot of people, especially overseas FGC, are like, y'all need to chill because this could be the biggest thing and possibly the best thing that has ever happened to the fighting game community. Maybe it is. I know a lot of people say it looks and feels shady as hell and grassroots is pretty much dead and they're gonna monopolize anything. Maybe that's the truth. Honestly, I don't know. We've never been here before. It's kind of scary and it's kind of exciting at the same time, if that makes any sense, but we've literally never been here before. I don't think any of us could have predicted any of this, right? So I agree with that percentage vote that said, we need to wait. We need to play this thing out because honestly, that does seem that's all we can do at this point. How y'all feeling? Let me know. That was Butt Check family. Definitely let me know how you feeling, man. This was a whopper. Woo, it is changing right before our eyes, and me as like an OG, you know, I wasn't around obviously since the start of the FGC. Age-wise, yes, but I was not involved in the FGC until like 2009, you know, something like that. So anyway, long story short, what I'm trying to say is even I didn't think I would be around long enough to see something like this. But like I said, it's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting to see where it's gonna go and how many people globally that we could bring into this fighting game community. In that sense, it's very exciting for me. Now, in the other sense, if the bubble pops and all this other stuff, yeah, that's a whole nother issue. But until then, let's see what happens and tell me how y'all are feeling, because this is some big stuff. And as always, I don't know what it is, but I know somehow, some way, it's about to get better. Love y'all forever. Peace.
Blah, blah, blah. Subscribe.
Ooh.